Rather lads, welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is the latest Arsenal news and transfer news as well. Arsenal's second signing of the summer is pretty much confirmed now. Arsenal have sent their offer to Mikel Merino, and they're also planning on sending another offer to the player as soon as possible. Mikel Arteta has been speaking about our transfer, summer and also the plan for next season. And once again, he has said Arsenal's plan is to win now, as we are trying to upgrade in everything we are doing, and we're also trying to improve in each and every area that we have on the pitch. So at the moment, Mikel says Ricardo Calafiori is just the beginning. Arsenal are going to continue to do work in the transfer window. We are looking at a forward, we are looking at a midfielder, and many more signings, especially in the goalkeeping department. Now, according to James Bank, Edin Ketia is closer to leaving Arsenal than ever, as talks have intensified between Arsenal and Marseille. Now, Marseille are saying they want to take the player on loan, but Arsenal are saying if they're taking him on loan, it's going to be key that they include a buy obligation in that deal. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well, bringing you the latest around Arsenal on each and every hour, just to make sure that you don't miss out on anything, talking and moving around the club as well. So let's get into it. Let's start off with that big story on Mikel Merino, because according to Mundo Deportivo, Arsenal have sent in their first offer to the player, their proposal officially to the player, and they're expecting the player's entourage to actually accept it. So Arsenal have sent their offer to Mikel Merino and now preparing an offer to be associated for the player. Although Merino is getting closer and closer to Arsenal, the agreement between the two clubs is still missing at the moment. But an official proposal has been sent by Arsenal to Mikel Merino and his camp, and we expect him to accept it. Now, Fabrizio, yesterday, in the last, 20 hours, he's confirmed and reiterated that we have had massive talks between Arsenal and the player. We have had Mikel Arteta call Mikel Merino on a couple of times, and I think that is where Arsenal get the confidence to send in an official proposal. I'll tell you how this works. Usually, you talk to a player, you establish the terms and conditions of the deal. How much money do you want to give them? How much money do they want? How much in terms of wages? Do they want a 4-year deal? Do they want a 5-year deal? Do they expect to play every single game? Do they expect to play at least 50% of minutes? You reach out to the player and you talk with them. When you establish that their ambition is in the same line as yours, and you have matching ambition in terms of wages, in terms of expectations and everything, then you can send in a proposal to agree with them on personal terms. So according to Mundo Deportivo, Arsenal have sent that proposal to Mikel Merino as they feel confident that the player is going to accept it. They've already talked to him. Mikel has done his job. Edu has done his job. So it's about Mikel Merino and his camp now agreeing to personal terms, and then we can proceed to the next step. I don't think Arsenal are going to wait for Mikel Merino, really, to start talking to our Sociedad. Sociedad this morning have set the price at 30 million euros, and they're expecting a bid from Arsenal that will satisfy their expectations. That shows you that Sociedad understand their talks between Arsenal and Merino, and also Mikel Merino and his club understand that Arsenal made them a priority this summer. So literally, guys, this means that this move is moving quicker than the Ricardo Calafiori deal, because with the Ricardo Calafiori deal, you had a lot of things in the way. But with the Mikel Merino deal, personal terms are working in the right direction. If we send an offer in the next 24 hours, Sociedad obviously will bounce it. Probably they will want more money in the player, given the fact that it's going to be Arsenal, a big money club. But I expect this one to happen very, very quickly. And also Mikel Arteta, because Declan Rice is not in the camp, he's got Partey, he's got Fabio Vieira, he's got Martin Odegaard. I think he will want a midfielder in there. Now, I'm not sure if Mikel Merino will be coming back before the Declan Rices, but it has been confirmed that Rice and Saka and all the boys that played in the final will be available for Mikel Arteta before 17th of August, so before the start of the Premier League. So on the first day of the Premier League, you might see a full squad from Arsenal with Calafiori, with Saka, with Rice, despite the fact that some of these guys, and even Raya, despite the fact that some of them had to train until the final day of the Euros. But our second signing is being worked on deal is in the pipeline. I want to confirm that he's getting closer and closer and closer, right? So if we can get that agreement from the player on personal terms, we also get the agreement from Real Sociedad in time, I won't be surprised to see Mikel Merino as a big part of our, preseason, especially the games that we'll play in August. That is Liverpool, that is, what's the other game? Leverkusen and Monaco as well. But Mikel Arteta has had his own say on the transfer window, and he has also had his own opinion about, where Arsenal are in terms of winning and what we are going to be, trying and what we're trying to achieve at the moment. So Mikel was asked about the transfer window. Are Arsenal really ending on Calafiori, or we are still going to be busy in the market? And he said we need to upgrade in each and every area, and we're trying to upgrade in everything that we are doing. We have to improve in every area, and that is what we are doing. Initially, again, when he was asked about transfers, he said it was a difficult market. It has been a difficult market for us, but we are trying to adapt to the market. And eventually, we are seeing some success, we are seeing some breakthroughs, and we will see some signings. And ever since he spoke about the transfer window, that was around 1 week ago, I think 1 week and a half ago, Arsenal have signed Ricardo Calafiori. That shows you the adaptation that he's talking about, because as manager, the expectation was that Arsenal could make sure, and Arsenal could sign players for a little bit cheaper this summer. That didn't happen. Clubs changed the way they approach the window, and Arsenal have to evolve. Arsenal had to adapt, and we've done that very, very well. I think his words really mean that we might see a forward coming at Arsenal, and we might also see a winger, and we might see a midfielder. Honestly, it's a lot of work to get done. Winger, forward, midfielder, but I think that's where we are at the moment, because when you think about what Mikel has said in terms of what he wants, which we're going to talk about in a minute, he wants to win. And if you want to win, you have to make sure that every single part of the squad, every single part of the team has been covered very, very well. So for me, I still expect Arsenal to at least work on 2 major signings. Won't be surprised if Mikel Merino is one of them, and I really want him to be one of them, because I can see the idea, I can see the picture of why we want him, and I won't be surprised if Victor Gyökeres or Nico Williams is the other, because, I wanted to talk about Nico Williams a little bit, right? A little bit, because with Barca, they are not 100% sure, again, that they can get him. They're not 100% sure. They're not in that situation, right? They're not in that situation where, like, we have him 100%. They're trying to agree personal terms. They have a salary cap to work on. And if they can get all that done, right, then how about the transfer fee? How about the price? Can they agree a deal with Atletico Bilbao? So maybe Nico Williams is seen as a deal that could be done inside Arsenal, and then the people outside Arsenal think the deal can't be done. But Mikel Arteta, again, giving us hope that transfers are still coming in, incomings are still happening, and let's see whether we can get more and more deals to strengthen this team. So about winning next season, Mikel Arteta says we have done everything. We have reached that point where a big club should start now winning titles, and he's happy with the work they've done, and is confident that our time to win is now. This is a story that has even broken on Sky Sports, and I think for me, it is that big. When the manager now feels there is no more work to be done, it's about winning, I think, that's a big story. And I also believe in Mikel Arteta, and I think he's right, because the initial job and the initial task he had to do as manager was come in, and before you even, throw out the dead wood and, get rid of the players you don't want, can you turn around the culture? Can you make Arsenal fans fall in love with the team once again? Because it was too disconnected. I remember there was a time where I was no longer watching Arsenal games. I remember there was a time where I didn't know whether Arsenal played. I remember there's a time where Arsenal really, I was very, very, attached to the team, like internally, but externally, I wasn't proud of this team. And I think that's what Mikel Arteta did for the, when he came in, change the culture of the fans, make them feel part of this club. So he's done that. And every team that wins big silverware, every team that wins big titles, that team must have a connection with its fan base. So he's done that. And then he's cleared out all the deadwood players that are not good enough to play for Arsenal. David Luiz, gone. Socrates Papastopoulos, gone. Rob Holding, gone. Ozil, he was good to play for Arsenal, but his mentality wasn't, gone. Matteo Guendouzi, gone. And even some players that you thought, maybe they still had a chance, like the likes of Aubameyang, they're absolutely gone. And then he implemented a good transfer policy. We bring in players that are young, we bring in players that are hungry, and we bring in players that have been leaders at a very young age, and they have a point to prove at a very young age. And that hence you've seen the likes of Declan Rice, he's a leader at 24 for West Ham. Martin Odegaard, a captain for Norway. The likes of Julian Timber, he's been a leader at Ajax. The likes of Ben White. He's literally changed the way we look at transfers and changed the way we look at new players. So that is also insane. Then he has challenged for the title for 2 seasons. And I think that gave this team a bit of experience and a bit of a feel of what it really feels like and what it really takes for you to win the trophy, for you to win the Premier League. You're going to try and fail, but as you try and fail, there's so many things you're learning that a club like Tottenham are actually not learning, because with Tottenham, they're not coming that close, right? So with Arsenal in the last 2 years, we've learned that consistency to win the Premier League is key. We've learned that winning your final games of the season is just as important as winning your initial games of the season. We've also learned that you've got to win many games the ugly way. You don't have to win 3-0, 4-0 every time. You can win 1-0 for 5 consecutive games, and that really still counts, and that really still matters. So, and this team has now developed into a useful bunch and an attractive bunch. A project that many players want to play for, a project that many, are attracted to at the moment in and out of Europe. So Mikel says that next season, our next step is winning big silverware. I can't lie. If I was to choose one trophy that I want us to start with, I'm going to disappoint you. I want it to be the FA Cup. The FA Cup, it feels so synonymous with Arsenal. Like, you just can't identify it. You can identify with it if you're an Arsenal fan. I bet that Manchester United fans do identify with it as well. But I think United fans identify more with the Premier League the way Madrid identify with the Champions League. So I would love to see Arsenal win maybe a double or even win a treble if we can. But I would love to see Arsenal just lift that FA Cup one more time. And then after that, we move over to the Premier League. Then we move over to the Champions League. I would love to see a sequence of Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Premier League, Champions League. But where I'm in agreement with Mikel is there is nothing now that we can say and put up as a reason for us not winning. There is no reason Arsenal can wake up and say, oh, this was the reason we didn't win. City are good, but Arsenal now must be better. Younger players, hungrier players, a project that is together, and a manager that is hungrier and younger as well. So technically, in terms of quality, we can match up with Manchester City, but also in terms of being thirsty, that should give us an advantage over Manchester City. And then, apart from that, why I think Arsenal are ready to win is when you fail at something so many times, eventually you crack it. And, this is from real life experience. When you do something for so many times and you're failing, if you don't give up, you eventually crack it. And this could be Arsenal's year. This could be Arsenal's season to crack the code on winning major silverware. So let's see if Mikel Arteta is right about winning big trophies, but this season is definitely going to be a big one for him and the boys. Now, James Bank has given us a wonderful update on the Edin Nketiah situation. Looks like Edin Nketiah's move to the French League One is getting closer and closer and closer. So James Bank says that Marseille right in talks with Arsenal over Edin Nketiah, who they are looking to take on loan. The key aspect here of the negotiations will be whether it includes a buy option or obligation. However, the League One side are expecting late interest from rivals for Edin Nketiah, long linked to London clubs as well. I'm going to say this first. I think I'm a little bit disappointed that we have not seen all these clubs that were making a lot of noise, the likes of West Ham, the likes of Crystal Palace. They have not even tried yet to try and sign Edin Nketiah. What was the noise all about for? What was the noise for? Like, they tried to even sign him in January, and Arsenal said, no, give us a break. Let's wait until the summer. And now they're nowhere to be seen. Scumbags. But I think with Eddie, it should be an obligation to buy. Yeah, maybe Marseille are still looking at those wages and how they would fit into their financial structure. Don't have a problem with that, but it should be an obligation to buy. There is no way he lives with a buy option, because I don't trust Edin Nketiah to go to Marseille and score 15. He doesn't really take even good penalties, does he? He doesn't really take good penalties. And I think because there is Mason Greenwood there, De Zerbi might use Greenwood as a striker and then Nketiah as a backup. I don't want that, because that means that he comes back from Marseille, his contract is nearing its end, and his value is dropping rather than increasing. So I would say they give us our money right now. If not that, they take him on loan, no problem with that, but with an obligation to buy. So let's see how that one is going to develop. But looks like our second signing of the summer is in the pipeline really, really well.